Hello everyone, I'm DW and welcome to Valdis' story, Abyssal City. This is an exploration platformer, and you might be thinking, that sounds like it could be a Metroidvania. And it totally is! Though it's more Vania than it is Metroid. In fact, I would say it's the best Castlevania-styled game I have ever played, even compared to the official Castlevania games. It is fantastic, and it's completely underrated and kind of unknown. Back when it came out in 2013, I didn't see any coverage by any of the major gaming sites or major gaming YouTube channels, and that's really unfortunate because it is a fantastic game. Recently, it received an update that added a whole bunch of new content, so I figured, hey, you know what? It would be a great time to do a Let's Play on something awful of this cool game that maybe people might not have heard of, so let's do that. For difficulty, we are going to play on normal. I am not very good at video games, so normal is more my speed. This game can be pretty challenging too. For character, we're going to go with Wyatt, the wandering warrior in search of his missing father. Rianne here is basically the main character of the game, but I like to go with Wyatt. Vlad and Gilda over here are unlocked after you beat the game once and have slightly different stories. So yeah, Wyatt is going to be the character that we are going to play as for this first playthrough anyway. So here we have the opening. Wyatt and co are chasing after this demon warship because they believe that there's somebody on there that might know where Wyatt's father is. That person is Jerno? I think it's Jerno. It might be Jernot, but I don't think so. So the crew is all ready to go on the offensive when something happened. They're attacked by weird whale things. Yay, weird whale things. Unfortunately, we never see these whale things ever again, but they're neither demonic nor angelic. And the whales, of course, sink both ships. And then Wyatt hears a weird voice in his head, asking him, what does he seek? So let me tell you a little bit about the background of the universe here. There's basically two major factions, the angels and the demons. Now Wyatt describes them as false gods, and that's because, as this voice will tell us in a bit, that all angels and demons were once human, and yet we slaughter them without hesitation. Basically, there was a death goddess many years ago who had two daughters. One of them became the leader of the angelic faction, the other became the leader of the demonic faction. But gods in this universe are not all-powerful, omnipresent beings. They were just really super powerful creatures that command armies and everything. But they were once human and they have a physical form and they can be overcome by just beating the crap out of them, and maybe we will get to do that. We're not going to be able to get to do that, but we'll beat the crap out of their subordinates. So this game was made by a company called Endless Fluff, which is I believe they're based out of New York City. They're very small. I think the team that made this is about 4 people, according to this opening credit scene. I wouldn't be surprised if they had additional help, but because 4 people making a game like this is very impressive. And here we are. So we fell through water, but now we're in dry land. Basically, there's this city underwater that's protected by this massive dome. And yeah, so let's begin. Wyatt's going to search out for the rest of his companions. And we are going to find a fish. Fish are very rare, and this fish drops a really rare item. That's total RNG. But we'll get to that later. Let's talk about the basic controls. So you can move left and right, you can jump, Then you have your light attack. Right, yep, and then you also have a heavy attack. If you press attack and jump at the same time, you'll do a sort of like launcher or rising. You can also attack in the air. We have magic. If you hold down R2, you can, and then press a direction, you'll do different magics. So that's up. There we have left or right. There's down. And then we can also do it in the air. We will eventually get different elements, but right now we only have light and dark. You can also grab onto ledges. If you press the opposite direction, you will jump. If you press jump, you'll actually climb up the ledge. You can also guard. You can't guard in the air. So yeah. That's also if you press up while grabbing a ledge, you'll climb up. Jumps have momentum. So if you stand still and try to make a jump, you probably won't make it. But if you run, you'll actually make the jump. That's basically all of the basic mechanics out of the way, so let's continue onward. Here's our first enemy. You can tell by the horns, the red glowing eyes, and the red garb that this guy is allied with the demon forces. If we just wait for him to attack, he takes a long time to attack. I think that's pretty funny. It's only that first enemy. They go easy on you. Over there, we see the stairs sort of lead down to nothing. We go back here, kill this guy, and then somehow that other guy just pops out. I don't know where he came from. Up there, we have a door we can't reach yet. That'll be a common theme in this first area. Did not need to block there, but whatever. Enemies can also guard, and right now we do not have a decent way of dealing with a guarding enemy. Soon we'll get something that'll help out with them. Also, we could use heavy attacks, but that can be kind of risky. In this chest, we find a life potion, which are analogous to Super Metroid's reserve tanks, except that they only fill your health to half instead of full. And now we're at level 2, but before we take a look at our stat screen, we're going to go grab this chest to get more iron. I'll talk about those items in a bit, but right now let's level up. So here we see our stat screen. We have 4 basic stats: strength, agility, luck, and intelligence. They all affect these various things down here while also doing other stuff. For right now, we're just going to put a point into luck, because that affects item drops, and I want to get some specific items. We also have skill trees. We have 3 skill trees to choose from, and a whole bunch of skills, but there are only 20 levels in this game, so we will not be able to fill out this entire skill tree. For right now, we are just going to go with grip to increase our damage. Go. There we go. And let's continue onward yet again. In the starting area is the only place you're going to see those doors, which is weird. Over here, you're going to see this green door. Green doors, well, basically, there'll be an enemy that has a green aura, and you have to kill the enemy with the green aura to unlock the green door. Fairly simple. There are some additional treasure chests in this room, but we can't quite get to them. So we see that right up there, we can't quite get to it. If we continue forward, we will find our green aura'd foe. So we're going to power up with some magic and take care of him fairly quickly. And we also get introduced to a new friend. Maybe a new friend. One of the locals. There are actually people living down here, if you can believe it or not. So let's chase after her. She's very agile, and we can't quite do that nifty wall jumping she can do, so we're just going to have to continue down here. What do we find down here? We find a button that we can't interact with yet, no matter how much we jump on it. A door we do not have the key for yet, an enemy that we get hit by, and another door that is probably opened by that switch. In fact, it's absolutely opened by that switch. We can see that nice shiny red treasure chest, but we can't get to it yet. If we continue further down, we'll come across this wall that looks like it could be breakable, but our attacks are doing no damage to it. This area really likes to show off things that you will eventually be able to get through, but can't quite get through just yet. So we only have one direction we can go. The jumping heavy attack deals a lot of damage and can get through guys' guards. It's very useful early on if you just want to single shot an enemy like that. Hey, now we're at level 3. So, we are going to unlock Cunning to increase our chance to do critical hits, because you can never have enough critical hit chance. And we're going to upgrade our Strength. That will increase our base damage. So let's take a look at our spells. You have different elements and you have 4 slots you can put a spell into. Right now we just have Light and Dark, and I'll go more into elemental damage and stuff in the next video. Right now we're going to go through this door and it'll bring us to a different area. We have that same red door that we can't get into, but you might notice a head of an NPC down there. If we continue this way, we will find a chest with a very, very important item, the Master's Scroll. These allow us to perform canceling, like it would be a fighting game. Canceling lets you do that. So you see I did a heavy attack, but I canceled it. We can also use it to dash. Cancels will sort of charge up over time. We start with 1, or we just picked up 1, but eventually we will get more over the course of the game. And we can also use them to activate switches. So we are going to go back and activate that switch that we saw just a couple screens ago. You can see I'm using the evade to pass through guys. You do get a bunch of invulnerability frames while evading, and it can be really helpful to get around enemies guarding and just to avoid damage. It's very important for the more technical parts of this game. Now once we use it to activate switches, as you'll see, there'll be a timer, and then we have to sort of make it through the door before the timer runs out. That is 99% of the types of platforming puzzles we'll have to deal with to get a lot of the items, and just to kind of get through some of the more platform-heavy sections of this game. So we hit the switch, we have 2 seconds to get through this door, and we do it no problem. Our reward is the Murderous Raiment. Raiment? I don't know how to pronounce that word, admittedly. But anyway, it's new armor. The first new armor. You can see it gives us some bonuses to our stats, increases our critical chance, and it does something, it gives us a bonus to magic damage when we get a critical. So this is not perfect for our build, but it'll serve us better than our default armor. All armor, in the top right corner you can see the red icon. That's its affinity. So right now it has demonic affinity. Our sword has neutral affinity, and your character also gets an affinity bonus if you are more towards one of the affinities. So I'm going to grind a bit here so that we can get up a level, and so that we can get some very specific items. All of these items here are used for crafting or bartering, and that's the game's currency. The game doesn't have any other sort of currency. So like this demon ruby here, or this soft cloth or rough cloth, the iron, all the enemy spirits, all are used solely to barter or to craft new items with. Now we don't have to do too much grinding, because basically what we want right now is just some polished stone and some, I think something else, I forget. But also, yeah, we also want to get to level 4, although eventually we want to get to level 5 before the boss. So, boom, we are level 4, through the magic of editing. Now we're going to get another point in our strength, and our skill, we are going to pick toughness here. Why? Because it will lead to parry. And parry is very good. Now I also want to point out that circular meter up in the top, that's our focus gauge. Once we have full focus, we can go into focus mode, which will give us a general buff, and allow us to end it with a focus finisher that generally will deal a ton of damage and empty all of our focus meter. It kind of depends on what sort of focus you have attached. Now I'm not going to activate it right now. I generally save focus for the boss. So yeah, after a little bit more grinding, we're gonna continue onward after I just get wrecked by these fools. Look, my health is at half, but it's fine. Need to do more jumping heavy attacks. So let's finally go down here. We're gonna take this top path first, which will just lead to a dead end, an ogre, and a treasure chest. Kind of sounds like a Piers Anthony novel. Anyway. And here we see the tutorial for the skill cancel, which is the ground stomp to activate switches. We take out these guys, we see another skeleton key door, which we can't actually activate yet or get into. And we hear and we can feel a familiar energy. This is our save points. Save points work as you'd expect. They fill up your health and all your potions and save your game. Although there is also an autosave feature if you quit the game. So we're also going to try to level up to level 5 so that we can get parry. And there we have it. So now we can put another point into strength, go to our skills here, and unlock parry. And why don't we test out parry a bit? Now you can't parry certain attacks, like this heavy attack from the ogre here's like his flail. We can't counter that. We can't parry that. But weaker attacks like this archer's shot and this assassin's blades, we can actually parry no problem. Or well, in theory, if I could get the timing down. The timing window is actually fairly lenient. I'm just garbage at video games. So we're going to get our health filled back up, and we are going to go fight the very first boss of the game. But first, a cutscene. Now there's one line that I really like from this cutscene. Never seen a real sword before? Huh. Better for shoveling dirt. Oh, it'll come in handy when I'm digging your grave. Gotta love that line. How about we fight this lady? So this boss can skill cancel just like we can, and is kind of giving me the business. We're gonna use our light magic, and eventually I want to get into focus mode so that I can hit her with our focus finisher. When she hops up here, of course you want to jump up the opposite way that she is, and there I activated my focus mode and was able to hit her with our finisher. I should probably have let the focus mode go on a little longer. But this battle's almost over. There we have it. So on our time we got an S rank, on our combat we got an A rank, and on our potions we got an S. So we got an S overall, which means we get +1 strength. This is super awesome. I'll explain the ranking system in a bit, but first we have to deal with some new monster. That thing looks pretty damn scary, so I think we better get out of here, right? So, Adelaine here explains that those things, those monsters that we saw, are called ferals. Right now. Or I guess Wyatt wants to go back and fight that thing, and you can. It's not advised to do it right now, but later we can do it. So yes, the ferals will attack anything. Human, angel, demon, they don't care. But they generally stick to their own area, so it's kind of odd for them to show up in this area. In this chest we have a very important item. I mean, it becomes a fairly common crafting material, but to get something so early on will allow us to craft something once we get to our first town, which will be right now. I like to try and beat Adelaine here. Yeah, ferals are just not any good. This guard, I love this line. Wyatt, eh? Got a nice ring to it, real smooth. I'm not quite sure if Wyatt is exactly a name that I would describe as being real smooth, but hey, that guard is into it and, well, I can't fault him. Now we're in town, we're in Tagrum village. We can talk to some NPCs, and first stop is the shop here, where we're going to buy all of this guy's steel and the health charm. You can actually mash on the button, but for some reason I'm like, maybe I should like let the viewers, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I should have just mashed through it. Anyway, we got all the steel. Steel will be helpful. And we got the health charm that will increase our maximum health by 10%. We can't afford the mana charm because we don't have any angel sapphires. We'll talk to NPCs as we come across them. Generally, they don't have too much of interest to say, although this little girl here likes our pretty hair. And this guy will explain where the fishes come from. Apparently there are some cracks in the big mana dome that surrounds the city. Over here we have Ziggy, which is another shopkeeper, where we're going to buy the warm elixir. This will prevent cold damage in frozen areas, and that's very important because we are going to be going to a frozen area very soon. This guy just has to say hello. So progress is to the right, but we're going to go to the left here to the save point, and that's going to be an episode. I hope you enjoyed it so far, and as always, I've been DW. We're going to try and get episodes out fairly regularly, but who knows, who knows. So yeah, I will see you later, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.